Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a buyer's guide for the Starlancer TAC, the aggressive variant in the MISC Starlancer Series. We'll go over its features, strengths, potential weaknesses, and whether or not it's worth your hard-earned cash. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what the Starlancer TAC shares in common with the Starlancer MAX. First, it includes two remote turrets, each equipped with two size 4 guns, a pilot-operated arsenal of 4 size 4 weapons, and a standardized 16 size 3 missile allotment on the ship. The TAC, however, has several additions over the MAX variant that make it fit into a combat focus more appropriately. First, it has two manned side turrets in addition to the two remote size 4 turrets previously mentioned, each with two size 5 guns this time, however. The ship includes 8 drop seats, which replace the cargo lift in the MAX variant, ideal for deploying troops during combat scenarios rapidly. The TAC is equipped with 2 Tier 3 medical beds as well, which allow for onboard healing and even spawning. This can provide a huge tactical advantage over the MAX when it comes to combat gameplay. The TAC includes a small hangar to hold a single Mirai Fury snub fighter, offering versatility in combat scenarios. This will help the ship deal with light fighters, which in my experience the MAX struggled with at time given its size and speed limitations. For defenses, the TAC also gets a boost with 2 size 3 shields versus the MAX's 1 size 3, significantly enhancing its survivability over the cargo variant. And finally, for logistics, it can carry 96 SCU of cargo versus 224 SCU of cargo on the MAX. This is a key area the TAC makes sacrifices over the MAX, but the TAC having 96 SCU will ensure you still have the ability to stow away your spoils from any combat scenario you find yourself in. In regards to ship modules, the TAC includes the following: 1x size 2 life support, 1x quantum fuel and hydrogen fuel tanks, 1x size 3 power plant, 1x size 2 quantum drive, 1x size 2 jump drive, 2x size 3 shield generators, 1x size 3 coolers, 1x size 2 gravity generator, 2x size 2 fuel intakes, and 2x size 2 batteries. This ship includes redundancies in several areas, and the components that lack this advantage are size 3 largely, giving it a larger pool of health on those components. However, your power plant, coolers, and quantum drive will be key points of attacks, as per usual. Let's talk about pricing. The Starlancer TAC is priced currently at 295 war bond, or 330 credit. This is on the higher end of the spectrum, so the question becomes, is it worth your time and money to access this ship? The Starlancer TAC has a lot going for it. I've had hours to play with the MAX and has become one of my go-to ships. Even the MAX with its 1x size 3 shield when given full power held up admirably during the Save Stanton event, fighting various craft including the Idris, especially if you have the crew to man the turrets. The additional shield generator in the TAC will ensure, if managed properly, you'll be able to stay in the fight for quite some time. The ship having onboard medical facilities alone is a game changer, offering respawn capabilities that are invaluable during prolonged operations in bunkers, settlements, and other ground combat encounters. The spacious and well thought out design of the interior helps avoid that cramped, claustrophobic feeling that may otherwise be present, making it more comfortable for the number of crew that are needed to operate the ship. The dual elevator ladder layout is a huge plus in both the MAX and the TAC. These features make the TAC a strong choice for players who value utility and versatility in a combat-focused environment. Let's go ahead and balance out these positive points with some potential downsides. Here's a few red flags. The exposed bottom section of the ship is a huge issue. For a combat ship, the lack of turret coverage on the belly is a glaring weakness. With all its firepower, none of it can protect the ship's underside, which leaves it vulnerable to attacks from below. I prefer CIG remove the rear missile turret or the rear-facing 2x size 4 turret and place another 2x size 4 or even a 2x size 3 turret on the belly of the ship. This would immediately address the issue and give the ship some extra sustain in combat scenarios. Another large negative from my experience, even on the MAX currently, is the crew member who gets stuck on the rear turret spends much of their time without targets, which results in that player feeling left out of combat a large majority of the time. Moving either of the previously mentioned turrets would create a better play experience and improve the ship's ability to sustain itself with heavy pressure from fighters. In day-to-day play, even on the MAX, the rear turret just does not see that much practical use in combat scenarios. Most of the time, your major targets can be focused in front of the ship, mainly because the pilot is following them, leaving the rear turret essentially either lightly used or not utilized at all. The TAC is designed for a crew of 7. It can likely operate as 6 based on the provided details without much issue if it were in the current game environment, but with the introduction of engineering gameplay, it's hard to say what this ship will require on release. If you're worried about maximizing your DPS per crewman, splitting the crew across multiple ships like the Anvil Paladin would likely provide better overall DPS and have a lower chance of total loss, and this should definitely be considered. With the TAC having oversized shields, drop seats, heavy armaments, and medical facilities crammed into one ship, the TAC risks being subject to the same balance adjustments that hit ships like the Redeemer and Corsair. Over time, some of these features could be toned down before or after release. Given that this ship is still in the pre-release concept phase, the ship could change a lot between now and its final release into the verse. In situations like this, unless you want the loaner, which it currently gives you, which is the Starlancer Max, as of this recording, I would simply buy a CCU for the ship from the next ship down that's widely available in most sales. In this case, that would likely be the Vanguard Harbinger or Retaliator Bomber. This locks in the current concept pricing and ensures you'll have at least a way to access the ship during large events like IAE and Invictus launch week. So is the Starlancer TAC worth adding to your fleet? If you do bounties, ship combat, FPS ground combat events and missions, or even maybe some piracy, this ship could be an excellent addition to your fleet. But I will note the lack of protection on the belly of the ship, the high crew requirements, limited cargo capacity in contrast to the Max, and the uncertainty and risk of a concept release leave a lot to be considered here. At $330 standalone, this ship comes at a cost, so weigh the pros and cons carefully to decide if it fits your playstyle and gameplay loops you enjoy day to day. And always remember, all these ships will become available for aUEC in-game after a few months, so keep that in mind as well. I want to thank you for watching this buyer's guide. Let me know if you have any comments. Are you planning to pick up the Starlancer TAC, or are you holding off for something else? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future content. See you next time, and fly safe.